Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we're talking about the 4th level spell, Freedom of Movement. We're giving this spell a B+. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. All right. Yes, we're giving this a B+. Not giving it an A. It is circumstantial, and there is that. So, but this is a good spell to have as a choice. I would definitely, for some of these classes, decide to take this spell as one of my prepared spells or one of my spell choices for the day. And that, really when we talk about these spells, that's what it comes down to is you have a limited number of spells that you can prepare every day or make choices for every day as a class, depending on your level and your different ability scores. Do you want to choose this spell, or or are there other spells at this level that you want to choose? And is this worth casting with one of your slots? That because you have a limited number of slots. All right, so I would probably take this for some of these classes, not all of them. I would definitely take it if I knew that I was coming up against something that was going to grapple or restrain or paralyze or something, or cause difficult terrain or something like that. So, Freedom of Movement is a 4th level spell, takes 1 action. It has a range of touch, so you can put it on yourself or somebody else. Verbal, somatic, and material component, which the material component is worthless, so that is neither here nor there. Lasts for an hour, no concentration, so that is why I'm not giving this a B. If it was concentration, I would only give it a B, but we're giving it a B+ because it is no concentration. So you can cast it and you can keep going. It's not a ritual, unfortunately. That would make it really powerful if it was a ritual. So it is usable by bards, clerics, druids, rangers, artificers, war domain clerics, a whole bunch of different Circle of the Land druids, Oath of Devotion paladins, Oath of Glory paladins, Oath of the Open Sea paladins. Not wizards, and not sorcerers, and not warlocks. I'm not really sure why that is. So in 3rd edition, this was definitely usable by all 3 of those arcane classes, but in 5th edition, it is usable by only one Arcane type class. Well, two Arcane type classes, and that's Bard and Artificer. If Arcane is a word, we're using it today. So you touch a willing creature for the duration. The target's movement is unaffected by difficult terrain. Remember, plant growth does not cause difficult terrain. Just remember that. But Entangle, I believe, does. There are a lot of different spells that cause difficult terrain, but they are unaffected by difficult terrain. And spells and other magical effects, I really don't like that they put that phrase into this, but they did. That's kind of a critique I have of this spell. Spells and other magical effects can neither reduce the target speed nor cause the target to be paralyzed or restrained. If it's not magical, and it's not a spell, then you can be paralyzed or restrained. Well, we're going to talk about that. The target can also spend 5, and this last sentence is kind of nebulous as well. It's very dynamic. Let's put it that way. The target can also spend 5 feet of movement to automatically escape from non-magical restraints, such as manacles or a creature that has it grappled. So it doesn't use the term restrained, and it also doesn't refer to it as a condition. Finally, being underwater imposes no penalties on the target's movement or attacks. So there is that. So if you know you're going underwater, water breathing and freedom of movement are probably 2 good spells to think about having in your repertoire of stuff. If you know you're going up against creatures that grapple, or you know you're going to an area that has a lot of difficult terrain, freedom of movement is probably a pretty good spell. So let's talk about some of those things. What are some of the spells that can paralyze, hold person, So freedom of movement is the anti-hold person spell or hold monster, depending on what you are. Entangle is a spell that causes you to be restrained. So that one, and it turns the area into difficult terrain. So freedom of movement is the anti-entangle spell. This spell is great, well beyond first level, but freedom of movement takes care of that. Okay, purple worms, swallow whole, not magical. Not a magical effect. And because this second part here doesn't actually hyperlink into the restrained, it just says restraints. So, and it, such as manacles or a creature that has grappled. So, I would have to say that a purple worm is not a magical effect. Being swallowed by a purple worm is not a magical effect restraining you, so you're not getting out of it. Ghouls. The touch of a ghoul is not necessarily magical. So this paralysis here probably won't, freedom of movement probably won't work against that paralysis. Now that is different from earlier editions of this spell where you could not be swallowed whole because you couldn't be restrained or grappled and you couldn't be paralyzed. But this version of the spell doesn't work that way. Finally, the roper does grapple. So this second part probably applies to that. So the target is grappled until the grapple ends, which freedom of movement automatically ends grapples if you spend 5 feet of movement. The target is restrained and has disadvantage. So there's 2 parts to this. You can end this grapple by spending 5 feet of movement. And when you end the grapple, then you're no longer restrained and you're out of it. So there is that. So freedom of movement is probably good against ropers. It's probably good against some creatures that grapple, but it's not a good against other creatures like the purple worm that swallow whole. They don't really grapple you. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.